June 13th, 1901. Montreal's opulent Golden Square Mile, a place of privilege, wealth and guarded secrets. At precisely 6 p.m, 2 gunshots shattered the silence within the elegant Redpath Mansion. In a luxurious bedroom lay Ada Maria Redpath, a prominent widow, dead at 59 years old from a single gunshot wound. Beside her, critically injured, her youngest son Clifford, aged 24. What followed wasn't answers, but silence, whispers, and over a century of unanswered questions. Even today, historians and mystery enthusiasts remain captivated by this unresolved tragedy, compelled by a question that echoes through time. Who killed Ada and Clifford Redpath, and why? Welcome to Revealed, the podcast where we explore real-life mysteries, cold cases, and chilling events that blur the line between reality and the unknown. I'm your host, Alistair Rudley, and today I'll guide you through a tangled tale of wealth, whispers, and blood known as the Redpath Mansion murders. The Redpath family's prominence in Montreal society was built upon the industrious efforts of John Redpath. Born in 1796 in Earlston, Scotland, John emigrated to Canada in 1816. Starting as a stonemason, he quickly established himself in Montreal's construction industry. He played a significant role in the construction of the Lachine Canal, a monumental infrastructure project completed in 1825 that transformed Montreal into a major port by allowing ships to bypass the treacherous Lachine Rapids. This canal spurred industrial growth along its banks, attracting factories and contributing to Montreal's economic expansion. It also earned John a considerable fortune and status among Canada's elite. But it was sugar that defined the Redpath name. Capitalizing on this industrial boom, John founded the Canada Sugar Refining Company in 1854, establishing Canada's first sugar refinery. Located on the banks of the Lachine Canal, the refinery processed raw sugar imported from the British West Indies, marking the beginning of what would become Redpath sugar, a Canadian pantry staple used by millions across the country to this day. As the family's wealth and influence grew, they became integral members of Montreal's elite, residing in the affluent Golden Square Mile neighbourhood. Into this prosperous family married Ada Maria Mills. Born on April 26, 1842, into a wealthy Montreal family, her father, John Easton Mills, was a respected merchant who served as the mayor of Montreal. In 1867, Ada married John James Redpath, son of industrialist John Redpath. Their marriage contract was progressive for its time, allowing Ada to retain control over her assets. The couple went on to have 5 children: Amy, Peter, John Reginald, Harold and Jocelyn Clifford. Ada navigated Montreal's elite circles gracefully, even while enduring significant personal hardship. Her husband, John James Redpath, died prematurely in 1884, leaving Ada a wealthy but vulnerable widow. She also suffered from various ailments, including eye ulcers, neuralgia, joint pain requiring a brace, and melancholia. These conditions often led her to seek treatment in sanatoria across New York State. Despite her health challenges, Ada remained active in her children's lives and social circles, although she frequently spent extended periods away from home for medical care. Despite these personal struggles, Ada poured much of her remaining strength into nurturing her children, particularly her youngest son, Clifford, whose promising but tragically brief life would soon become the heart of the Redpath family's darkest mystery. Born in 1876 into extraordinary privilege and expectation, Jocelyn Clifford Redpath, affectionately known as Cliff, was the youngest child of Ada and John James Redpath. Cliff was baptized on April 19, 1877, with his older siblings Amy and Peter serving as his godparents alongside other family members. He formed an especially close bond with his sister Amy. Her diary frequently notes their leisurely walks and horseback rides through Montreal's scenic Mount Royal, revealing their deep companionship and mutual affection. Those who knew Clifford described him as intelligent, cheerful, and bright. A cousin, Sister Mary Dominic, reflected warmly on Cliff's gentle personality, writing, "There was in him a crystalline purity that suggested the angelic world. His presence brought refreshment and radiated serenity." Yet she also hinted at a mysterious depth beneath his friendly exterior, an otherness that set him apart from his peers. As the only son still living at home, Clifford carried significant responsibility, managing the family's considerable fortune with guidance from his older brother Peter, and likely from his uncles. Known as an attentive and devoted son, Clifford often accompanied his mother Ada on extended visits to Upper New York State, cared for her during bouts of illness, read to her during painful flare-ups, and diligently oversaw her treatment and comfort. In 1896, Clifford enrolled at McGill University as a partial student in the arts program, but soon transitioned to studying law. After graduating in 1900, he began a promising apprenticeship at the prestigious law firm Campbell, Meredith, Allen and Haig. Yet beneath Clifford's accomplished exterior lay hidden conflicts and quiet anxieties. Rumours hinted at struggles with identity, sexuality, or profound emotional turmoil. As he meticulously prepared for the bar examination in early June of 1901, Clifford had no inkling that his life and everything he knew stood on the brink of tragedy. On June 13, 1901, at precisely 6 p.m., Peter Redpath heard two sharp gunshots which echoed through the grand halls of the family's Sherbrooke Street mansion. He rushed toward the sound, arriving at his mother's bedroom, where inside he found a scene of devastation. His mother, Ada, lay lifeless, killed instantly by a single gunshot wound. Beside her, his younger brother, Clifford, was critically injured, clinging to life. Servants scrambled to help, but it was already too late. Clifford would soon succumb to his wounds. What followed this tragic discovery only deepens the mystery. Strangely, the Montreal police were never called. The next morning, on June 14th, a coroner's inquest was quietly convened inside the mansion. 13 jurors, prominent Montreal citizens, were selected to assess the circumstances surrounding the deaths. The inquiry produced 2 reports, still the most detailed records we have of that day. Testimonies were given by Peter Redpath, family physician Dr. Thomas George Roddick, Doctors Hugh Patton and Rollo Campbell, and 2 members of the household staff, Rosa Shallow and Charles James Fleet. Yet even within those official accounts, contradictions appear. Several newspapers claimed that Clifford had been rushed to the Royal Victoria Hospital, but no mention of his name appears in the hospital's patient registers, and although Dr. Roddick testified that he examined both bodies at the scene, other records suggest he wasn't even in Montreal until the following day. Within 48 hours, both Ada and Clifford were buried in the Redpath family plot at Mount Royal Cemetery. No further inquiries were made, no police investigation ever took place. The Redpath family then receded into silence, offering no public statements, no memorials, no open grieving. The tragedy vanished from their conversation, as though it had never happened. And yet the trauma lingered. Amy Redpath, Ada's daughter and Clifford's sister, left no written trace of the deaths in her personal papers. As a poet and playwright, Amy wrote in a style known as closet drama, plays meant for private reading rather than public performance. According to present-day family members, the Redpaths never spoke openly about the tragedy. Their grief, like Amy's writings, was kept behind closed doors. In one letter to her sister-in-law Alice, written 2 months after the deaths, Amy refers cryptically to the unpleasant business of destroying letters. One can only wonder, did these letters speak of that night? But the silence didn't last for everyone. 3 years later, a cousin of the Redpaths, novelist Lily Dougal, published a curious work of fiction in the United States. Titled The Summit House Mystery, it appeared to blend elements of the Redpath tragedy with the infamous Lizzie Borden murders of 1892. The result is a veiled, fictionalized account that may be the closest thing we have to a literary confession, an echo of what could not be spoken aloud. The pattern is unmistakable. The Redpath tragedy was handled like a closet drama, kept private, unspoken and carefully controlled. But this raises further questions. If it was simply a case of murder-suicide, why the silence? Why the contradictions? And why, curiously, does the official record list 0 suicides in Montreal for June of 1901? Even now, over a century later, the silence of the Redpaths continues to speak volumes, and the mystery of Ada and Clifford's deaths remains unresolved, entombed not just in Mount Royal Cemetery, but in the empty spaces between the lines of history. Today, the Redpath Mansion no longer stands. It fell into disrepair and was demolished in 2014. Yet the echoes of that tragic evening linger, inviting speculation. The Redpath name remains synonymous with sugar, prosperity and mystery. Their legacy endures in every spoonful of refined sugar across Canada. Yet the truth behind Ada and Clifford's deaths, locked tightly behind doors of wealth, silence and time, continues to haunt history unresolved. Perhaps the real story isn't who pulled the trigger, but what led to that final tragic moment, a reminder that behind every elegant facade may lie profound suffering, hidden secrets and silent cries for help. You've been listening to Revealed. If you found this episode compelling, consider subscribing and leaving a review. It helps more people uncover stories just like this. We hope you'll join us again soon as we investigate another true story where the evidence speaks, but the answers remain silent.